Hi, everyone, and welcome to Walter's Wives and Woes.
I'm Shelby,
And I'm Marissa, and we are
the
the
Walters
Walters Girls. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Walter's Wives and Woes. We are following through after, well, the promises I made, I guess. The stars did align. Actually, I made them align and just called Shelby, and I'm like, I'm coming over right now, and we're going to record. And she's like, oh. I'm like, yeah, we're doing it. She's like, okay.
I just wanted to relax. I had a meeting this morning.
Life is rough. But we're here, we're recording, and Shelby's going to give a quick update on her recovery.
So I am 2 weeks post-op. If you didn't tune into our last episode, I got a breast reduction. They removed 6 pounds, which is like a small infant, hanging around your neck. So I immediately woke up from surgery and felt relief in my neck and shoulders, which my surgeon had said I would probably have immediate relief. And I was like, yeah, we'll see about that. And he was right. He came over. We had talked originally about removing 4 pounds. And prior to surgery, he's like, we're going through stuff. And I told him, I was like, if you're in there and you're like, oh, should I stop or should I keep going? I was like, keep going. I was like, remove as much as you can without making me look weird. And so he did end up removing a couple more pounds than he originally anticipated. And I feel so much better. I think I look a lot better.
Yeah. Like, not that you looked bad before, but the first thing you would notice about you was the massive boobs.
Yeah.
Like 2 basketballs hanging off of her chest.
Yeah. And now I look normal.
And you know what? I came across a picture from like 10 years ago, and your boobs were like the size that they are now.
Yeah.
After surgery.
Yep.
Like Lainey, like pregnancy and postpartum blew your boobs up.
Yeah. Just kind of wrecked my body altogether. Good times. So, yeah, like they look normal size. And that's probably a pretty accurate description because I still have old bras and I like bras from a long time ago.
College
bras, and they fit me again. So I think they're probably a little like I would say my size is a little bit smaller than what I was in college. Like I don't fill them out like I did, but they fit the way they're supposed to fit.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are considering breast reduction, you should do it. One of my good friends, she actually had she had a breast reduction last year, and that kind of kick-started me like really wanting to get this done because she just kept telling me, she's like, Shelby, it's life-changing, like truly life-changing. And it is.
Yeah, like Shelby doesn't have to wear a bra now if she doesn't want to.
Yeah, like you don't have to wear a bra because it's a reduction and lift that my surgeon did. And I was lucky because my girlfriend and I, we went to the same practice, but she had a different surgeon than I did. So she had to have drains and she wore a surgical bra. And my surgeon was like, nope. He goes, I don't really believe in that. He goes, basically his philosophy is like, I want my patient to be as comfortable as possible after surgery. So he doesn't insert drain tubes because he's like, your body doesn't produce enough output like it basically can absorb it. It's a healthy amount that the body can absorb. And he's like, you don't have to wear a surgical bra because he's like, you don't need a bra. So he just wanted me to be comfortable. So I was just essentially taped up after surgery. And then I was able to like remove everything and really see what everything looked like 3 days after my surgery. And yeah, it was a little gory. My husband said I looked like Frankenstein, but it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to look. And now being 2 weeks post-op, my scars are already healing really well. Like they're going to look really good.
Tell them about the tape.
Yeah. So right now I still have to apply for the next 4 to 6 months. I'll actually be applying surgical tape on top of my scars. And it essentially just tricks the body into thinking that's scar tissue. And therefore it won't produce in an abundance of scar tissue. So basically it'll keep my scars from being raised, and it'll hopefully they'll be like even with my skin. So, and it seems to be working because, you know, the scars around my areola are really smooth so far. And
let's talk about that, because people may not realize this, but as your boobs get bigger, other things get bigger as well. And if you haven't had children yet, be prepared, because that for me was life-changing.
Yeah.
I woke up one day and I was like, Derek, something ain't right. I'm looking like Baloney Barb. Like, things are darker, things are larger. Now Shelby's got little ones. She's got little pepperonis now.
Yeah, truly. Truly.
She went from Baloney Barb to Pepperoni Pepper.
Yep. Because like for the reduction, they actually cut out my areola. They cut out my areola and nipples, and then they moved them up. And obviously my surgeon's like, you know, I'll make your areolas proportionate to the size of your breast. So they are much smaller now. So obviously there was some reconstructive surgery that took place with like just the nipple and areolas themselves. But yeah, they look normal. They look good. I'm really pleased with how the procedure went. Pain wise, very manageable. Like they had me on a painkiller the first 3 days. They're like, some women just take ibuprofen, but they're like, you know, take the painkiller those 3 days and then switch to ibuprofen, like to stay ahead of the pain. So I did take oxycodone for 3 days. It just made me sleep a lot, and which is probably good because I needed that recovery time. And then I believe I took ibuprofen for 2 days after, and that was it. So I've taken ibuprofen here and there, like on days where I overdo it. But the pain of my reduction, mild compared to the pain that I had in my neck and shoulders. Like, no comparison, truly. So if you're dealing with back pain and neck pain, get the reduction, because if you're worried about the recovery period, it's a breeze compared to any other surgery. I mean, heck, if you've had a baby, you can have a breast reduction. It's nothing. But the biggest thing right now is just I'm on a weight restriction. So I can't lift anything over 5 pounds. I'm not great at listening to those skills because, you know, Lainey's a toddler and she has needs. But I definitely can tell on the days where I'm overdoing it and not following instructions. Like I'm very sore at the end of the day. And then what else?
Feeling, like what? Have you regained any feeling?
So I have complete feeling in one of my nipples and absolutely zero feeling in the other. So I talked to my surgeon, and he's like, we can hope that you'll regain feeling. They said massaging the tissue around it will maybe wake up some nerves. But, I've talked to one of my other girlfriends who's had
breast cancer.
Breast cancer. So she's had, an invasive surgery too on her breast. She's like, yeah, don't expect that feeling to ever come back. And so I'm not. And it doesn't bother me that there's no feeling. I mean, I think as a woman, your nipples are already like, it takes a large threshold to feel anything on your nipples already because, they're designed to feed babies. So
I feel like the only time you're like super sensitive is pregnancy.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
So other than that, it just, I just have zero feeling. Like,
yeah, she's like feeling herself.
I can't
up right
find
now.
I don't know where my nipple is on one of my breasts right now because I can't feel it. So, but yeah, that's the only thing that kind of stinks right now. Oh, and I can't take baths. I can't be submerged in the pool.
That's the biggest downside, I think, is just not being able to be submerged in the pool, especially because she has a pool.
Yeah. Yep. Like yesterday was super hot, and there were several times where I'm like, man, I wish I could just put my arms over a noodle and just kind of sit there in the water. But I can't do that because it takes about 8 weeks for that tissue to, like, where the scars are, to heal up completely. So it can't be submerged in any water until then. But other than that,
yeah,
it'll, one of the better decisions I've made for my adult self, I think. I've always talked about doing it.
Always. Like, it's always been a conversation.
Yeah. Even when I was a lot smaller, I still always felt like my breast tissue was very heavy. And I feel like it's always caused me issues with my neck and my back. And that alone was enough to push me over the edge. Like, for example, the week before my surgery, I couldn't take any NSAIDs. So like ibuprofen, anything like that. And I was in a lot of pain because I didn't realize how reliant I was on the days where my neck and shoulders hurt really bad. I could take ibuprofen and it would, kind of help take the edge off. So that week before surgery was more rough than post surgery because my neck and shoulders were so tight. But yeah. So if you're thinking about having a breast reduction and, you have questions, I'm here.
All I know is I'm super jealous. Like, Shelby has these awesome boobs and I do not.
Well, and the great thing is insurance paid for it.
Yeah. That's the whole thing.
It was considered medically necessary. So
whenever you got 2 basketballs, it's definitely medical. The doctor literally took one look at her. Yeah, insurance is going to cover this.
Yeah. Yeah. He's like, I don't think we're going to have a problem approving you.
They came back 2 days later approved.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they had to send pictures of Shelby in her glory. Yeah, they were probably like, oh my.
Yeah. I can't wait to see before and after pictures, because obviously we have my pictures before, and then I'm assuming at my 6-month post-op appointment is when we'll do our after pictures, because that's about how long it takes for everything to settle in where it's supposed to be. So that'll be exciting to see that difference.
Yeah, and now Shelby has this little area in her closet of dresses that haven't been able to fit her, or clothes that haven't been able to fit her because of her boobs. And now she can wear them.
Yep.
So exciting.
It is. Everything fits so much better now.
You just don't realize, like, it's different if you're like proportional, but like whenever like Shelby's your chest was not proportionate to the rest of your body,
Yeah.
then it really does make a huge difference. Like I'm looking at your wedding pictures right now and I just remember like her having to go up like it was easily 3 or 4 sizes just because of your chest.
Yeah.
And your boobs weren't even nearly as big there as they
No.
were right before
Yeah.
your surgery.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, even in the last few years, I'm telling you, ever since I had Lainey, it's just been bad. Well, and it's funny because my chiropractor, he's like, have you thought about weight loss? And
Well, and let's
respectfully, like, I get it. Like, that's what most people suggest. But I'm
and
like,
he knows Jeremy. I think if he didn't know you guys personally,
yeah,
he
yeah,
wouldn't have made those comments.
yeah, yep. And well, and I think his thing was like, it's just a major procedure. Like, do you really want to go through that?
And men are more attached to women's body parts than the women are.
Yeah, for sure.
They're so weird. Like Jeremy, he was texting us updates, and the doctor's like, he's like, the doctor said he took 6 pounds. And another text message, she's like, but he reassured me that there's still a lot there. And I'm just like, oh my God, Jeremy. But right now he refers to Shelby's boobs as pecs.
Yeah. Well, they kind of look like that, like, because they're swollen.
And they're
still.
perky.
Yeah. But like the tissue, that's the other thing. If you were to get this done, like, you can't judge your breast like what they look like post surgery. Like it takes like 6 months because so I talked to another girl that's had a breast reduction and she's like, yeah, they kind of look like man pecs after you're first done. She's like, that freaked me out. And one of my girlfriends reassured me it would be okay. And I had known prior, like I had, my friends were like, wait, don't freak out. They're like 6 months is about what it's going to take. But essentially, all of your tissue is above your areola and then off to the side a little bit, like closer to your armpit. So that's where all of that swollen, like all of the tissues left. So you're really swollen at that point. But over time, gravity kind of helps it assists in the process where that tissue is actually going to move and it's going to fill out my breast like later on. Like they'll become more rounded and
not that they're not round right now.
Yeah, but they're just going to look more normal.
More like a woman's breast compared to a man's.
Yep. So, and I knew that going into it, so I wasn't, I'm not worried about what they look like now. Heck, what they look like now, they still look better than what they did. So,
yeah, I definitely like with Shelby having her surgery. I'm like, man, I can't wait to be done having kids, done nursing, because like I said, I'm like, take it all, cut it all off.
Yep.
I don't care. There's no shame. I can't wait to get my boobs done. I want the full mommy makeover. I need to start saving now.
Yeah, no doubt.
Because the mommy makeover, that's like...
they're not cheap.
No, and I feel like recovery for that is like more intense, but...
Yeah. I know someone who did she do... I think she got implants and she did a tummy tuck at the same time and said it was very painful. Just getting it all. I think more so your abdomen.
Yeah, because you use your core for literally everything.
So, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I just need to lose weight now.
Yeah, me too.
So, yeah.
But yeah, so we just wanted to give an update on that. Since the update was actually a little bit longer than I thought, I want to talk about what happened yesterday.
Oh.
So we had the kids in the pool yesterday. We were all watching like our kids. Derek was in the water Jeremy was in the water or at the other end of the pool. Like Shelby has a very large pool. It's like a pool that you would see in a hotel. And like the one half is the deep end and it has like a platform, that you can like stand on and then like 3 steps. Well, Gemma had gotten out of the pool because she had to go potty and she took off her puddle jumpers. I was holding Marina and we were just sitting up on the patio. Well, after Gemma went potty, she went back and she's like making her way to the pool. And I'm like, Gemma, floaties. And she's like on that platform that you can stand on. That's like what, 4 feet wide.
Yeah.
And
couple inches deep of water.
Yeah. I'm like, Gemma, floaties. And I'm like, and she's
not
going.
Listening.
She's not listening. She's going. Now she's on the step. And before we know it, she's under the water. And thank God Jeremy's friend Chris was here. He immediately just jumped in and grabbed her up. She didn't even gasp or anything, but like
she was under the water for a second.
Yeah, maybe 3 seconds, but still. Shelby and I were like completely like at the gate at this point.
We're yelling at her.
We're watching it happen.
Yeah, to preface this, nothing bad was going to happen because we were all watching.
Yes.
But it just goes to show how fast it happens and how silent.
It was completely silent. She just went under.
No kicking, no screaming, no splashing. She was under the water.
Yes. And Chris just jumped in and just grabbed her up. She didn't cry. And it's like your body's response to naturally hold its breath. So she held her breath, and I know what happened. She was hyper fixated on this airplane floaty, and it was right in the pool, right off the steps. And I think she thought that she could reach it. And so like afterwards we're like, Gemma, you have to always have your puddle jumper on. And me and Shelby were freaked out. Like, even though she was under for maximum 3 seconds, like, for one, if Chris wasn't there, it would have taken us longer to get to her. Still, maybe an extra like 3 more seconds.
Yeah, she would have been fine.
Jeremy's laughing. I could have punched him, honestly, because I was like upset. And he's like, oh, she has a solid 40 seconds. And I'm just like, Jeremy.
No, she doesn't.
I'm like, that is not something to laugh about.
They say it takes 20 seconds or less.
Yeah. So, and it wasn't just us and Chris. Like, Derek was on the other side of the pool. He had actually gotten out and jumped back in because he was going to swim over to her. But it's like the amount of time it would have taken him to swim to her if it was just Derek. And it was just so, like, as a mom, I'm like, then I start to spiral.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
I woke up last night. It was like 2:30 a.m. and I couldn't fall back asleep because I was thinking about what had happened. And so there was an influencer. Her little guy was 3 and he just drowned in their pool a few weeks ago. And I've told Jeremy, like, because I'm a psycho mom, but
no, you're not even a psycho mom.
Lainey is an escape artist. My niece and nephew are both escape artists. And I've just been saying, like, we need to be so diligent on making sure the screen doors are shut. And like, we actually got our security system hooked back up. So like, we're alerted anytime a door opens. But, you know, I've told Jeremy, if we're not using the pool cover needs to be closed. Like, because it takes seconds.
Yeah.
And it can happen to the best of parents. Like, accidents happen. And I mean, just like that, like, they always say, like, how silent it is. And like yesterday I think was like, it was just a little freaky because it was so silent because she went under.
Well, even if we were like talking to each other and not paying attention and Chris wasn't, it would have been, well, where's Gemma? It could have taken us 30 seconds to figure out where she is and it could have been too late.
Yep.
That's
Yeah.
why you just have to have constant eyes on your kids.
Yep.
And like,
Well, and that's what I tell people. Like, you are responsible for your kid. You need to watch your kid when they come over to swim, because the minute you think someone else is watching your kid,
they're not.
They're not. And then something bad happens.
Well, it's just like, Lainey, she was in the little airplane thing. She could have just been floating there, but you had to get out of the pool and you're like, Marissa, will you watch her? And I'm like,
Yep.
yeah. So then I had a hold of her and, I was helping Gemma, but it's like, you always have to, it's a tag in, tag out.
Yeah.
Like someone has to constantly be watching them.
Yep.
And yeah, yesterday it was just nothing bad happened, but
just goes to show how bad things do happen.
Yes.
Quickly. And I know, like, being the pool owner,
that's like an added stress.
It is. Like, I get really, my anxiety is always, like, it's been really bad this year. Just because, Lainey's mobile and
she does escape, like,
she
into
escapes.
the garage.
Yep. And that's why I'm just like, you have to be diligent as a parent. Like, I mean, it even makes me nervous, like, because you spiral as a parent. You're like, oh my gosh, what if I fall asleep? And, we're napping, but she gets up and then tries to go outside and gets into the pool. And, it's just all those things. Like, that's why, you either have the pool cover on or we'll have our system armed. So we're alerted if someone tries to open one of the doors. Like, it just, you have to take all those extra precautions. And, if you're a pool owner, like, just, it's stressful when you think of, something bad happening to someone on your property. I mean,
well, and we had been talking about getting the kids into swim lessons. And since Shelby does have a pool, I'm like, I think there are swim instructors that will come to your home.
Yeah.
I know down in Texas, that's definitely a thing because like everyone has a pool there.
Yeah.
But I don't know how it is here, but I'm like, we need to look because like the YW here in Van Wert, it's like, it goes by age and our kids, since Shelby does have a pool, we don't need to get them familiar with water. They're already familiar with water. Like they jump off the diving board here. So they're to where like a 6 or 7-year-old needs to be. And like, and then the only other option is to take them to Fort Wayne. But the cost is astronomical. Whenever you're talking about $30 for a 20-minute class, but then it's like, okay, $30 for 20 minutes or their life.
Yeah.
Like, can you put a price on that?
Yeah, exactly.
But I feel like I definitely want to research swim instructors, like traveling swim instructors, because I'm like, we have 4 kids. Like, now Marina's crawling, and Shelby's pool, it's gated. And they have a pool cover, like an automatic pool cover. But still, Lainey, yeah, it makes me nervous with Lainey. Just like yesterday, right before we left, and we were like, "Where's Lainey?" I instantly went straight to the pool.
I go straight to the pool anytime I can't find it. Like the other day, I was like, "Where's Lainey?" And I ran out into the sunroom to look in the pool, and my husband's like, "Why are you looking in the pool?" I'm like, "Because I can't find our daughter."
Well, yeah, and it's Derek and Jeremy. Derek went back to the bedrooms. That was his first instinct.
Yeah.
But it's like, I feel like men don't think about the worst case scenario.
No, they definitely don't.
Whereas women
That's
instantly,
the first thing you think of.
Because there's been times that Lainey, Shelby and Jeremy had to put a different child safety lock underneath because they have the pull down handles that are really easy for kids. Lainey was in the front yard. And
escape artist.
Luckily, they live on a pretty quiet cul-de-sac, but still, she is. Oh, as soon as
and she's fast.
Yeah. Well, yesterday, I went to go out the door and she's on my heels. And I go to put my arm out to stop her. Well, she's already getting on the ground to try to climb under my arm.
Yep.
And
she's an escape artist.
She just loves the golf cart.
She just loves being outside.
Yeah.
Like, she loves being outside, and it's all very innocent, but she, and you can't reason with her.
No.
She doesn't understand.
She doesn't even talk except for saying no and stop.
Yeah. Well, even like when I grabbed Gemma yesterday and I told her, I was like, honey, you have to listen. That's how little girls drown.
Gemma didn't understand.
She doesn't know what I'm talking about, but it's just like, like,
like, the bad thing is, like, I don't think it scared Gemma enough.
I don't think so either. I think it put a little bit of scare in her initially.
But then she was asking.
And she was like, meh.
But then she was asking Luca, like, are you okay?
Yeah.
Are you okay? And we're like, Gemma, we're talking to you.
Yeah.
Like, girlfriend, like, we're talking about you, not Luca.
Luca's a lot better listener than you are.
She was just hyper fixated on that float.
Yeah. Yep.
And I don't even think she was aware that she didn't have her puddle jumpers on.
Yeah, probably not.
Because usually she's really good about, if she doesn't have her puddle jumpers on, she only stays on the platform.
Yeah. Yes. So be diligent.
Yes.
Drowning is the leading cause of death for kids in the United States, ages 1 to 5. So
that goes with pool. That doesn't just go with pools, but bathtubs.
Bathtubs.
Like,
if you've got a pond in your backyard or you're near a lake.
Oh, yeah.
Anything.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you just have to be diligent with your kids.
And they can drown in less than an inch of water.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever you have, your 6-month-old that can sit up on their own and they're only in an inch of water and you forgot their towel, you still don't leave them.
Mm-hmm.
You pull them out of there and then grab their towel.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because it doesn't take, and even if you think you got them in time, especially with like pool water, the aspirating that can, or they can get an infection from the bacteria and everything.
Yeah.
So if that sits in their lungs and they don't get it out. So you just, yesterday it was just, nothing bad happened, but change one thing and something terrible could have happened.
Yeah, for sure.
So I just wanted to share that because I would hate to just that influencer. I don't even know her, but like her little guy, 3 years old, my little girl, 3 years old. Like, if anything ever happened to my kids, especially in her situation, like we were talking, like her husband wasn't at fault. He really, like,
accidents happen.
They do, but it's like, how would your marriage ever recover from that? Like, even if you have faith, like, I don't know.
But that's what you have to remember, though, is that accidents happen. Like, it just, and when you have a pool or a body of water near, you run that risk, and you just have to make sure you're taking all the necessary steps to keep your kids safe. Like,
even if they're experienced swimmers, there should always be supervision. Like, because you don't, like, even as an adult, like, I really don't think it's ever safe to swim alone because you could fall and hit your head, then fall into the water. Like, there's so many scenarios. And like, swimming is just, it's a great thing, but it's also extremely dangerous. And I think we tend to forget that.
Yeah.
As we get older.
For sure.
So, but yeah, not to try to scare everyone, but just be diligent and watch your kids. Don't rely on someone else to watch them. So, but yeah, I think that's what we're going to talk about. Shelby wants to relax and I need to do some laundry big time. My cleaning lady would probably appreciate that.
Yeah.
She's the best.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so you'll hear from us in a couple of weeks. And hope everyone gets to enjoy this beautiful weather.
Mm-hmm.
Stay sharp, stay diligent, watch your kids around water, and have fun.
Yep.
So we will see you later. So for now, that is Walter's Wives and Woes.
Bye.